Math is a wonderful thing. Math is a really cool thing.
Alright, so next we are going to discuss how to solve equations that contain mixed numbers or fractions. So first, we need to make sure to convert all mixed numbers to improper fractions and make sure that we have a common denominator to add or subtract. So in this example, note that I have here a mixed number, negative 3 and 1/4. We need to convert this into improper fraction. So your 3 and 1/4 is just equal to 4 times 3 plus 1. It's 13 over 4. Bring down the n. Minus 1/3 equals 37 over 6. Now we have here different denominators, 4, 3, and 6. We need to get our LCD. In this case, our LCD is equal to 12. We have a separate video on how to find LCD of fractions. So go ahead and check that, and I'm going to provide a link down below in order for you to review how to find LCD of fractions. Alright, once we have our LCD, we are going to use 12 to multiply both sides. Alright, so let's use our LCD 12 to multiply both sides of our equation. So I'm going to multiply the left side by 12 and the right side by the LCD equal to 12. Next, we are going to use our distributive property to distribute our 12 to the left side. So we will have 12 times negative 13 over 4. So this is 12 times negative 13 over 4 and 12 times negative 1/3. And then on the right side, it will be 12 times 37 over 6. Now, 12 times negative 13 over 4 is equal to 39, negative 39, n. 12 times negative 1/3 is actually equal to negative 4. So we can write plus negative 4 here or just minus 4. Then 12 times 37 over 6 is equal to 74. And from here, we can add 4 to both sides. And we are going to get negative 39n equals 78. And then divide by negative 39 to both sides. And we are going to get negative 2. Alright, so let's say we are going to indicate the properties that we use to solve this equation. So this one, we just replace negative 3 and 1/4 by negative 13 over 4. That is just actually a substitution. Okay. Next, we multiply both sides by 12. So this is multiplication property of equation. So this step, from this step going to this step, we actually use our distributive property. Note that we distributed the 12 to the left side and to the right side. And from here, note that we just simplified this to make it negative 39, this into negative 4, and then this into 74, which is just substitution. Here, we add 4 to both sides. That's addition property of equation. And then we cancel this to get this. So it will be your additive inverse. And finally, when you divide by negative 39, that is your division property. And to get this answer, it is actually multiplicative inverse. Alright, just to clarify how to get the negative 39 from 12 times negative 13 over 4, what you need to do is, well, let's check our answer. So multiply 12 with negative 13 over 4 and note that we are going to get negative 39. You can also do this one in a different, we can also solve this one in a different way, which is divide 12 by 4, which is 3. Then 3 times negative 13 is equal to negative 39. This 12 times negative 1/3, let's just check our answer. 12 times negative 1/3 is actually equal to negative 4. And this, it's 12 times 37 over 6 is equal to 74. All right. So this is the usual way of solving equations with fractions. Now, we can skip some of these steps. Okay. So let's show a different way on how to solve equations with fractions. So let me just copy this. All right. Let me copy this one and then paste it over here. All right. So we know that our LCD is equal to 12. Your next goal, your next task is to make this equal to 12. So how can we make this equal to 12? Times this by 3. Then make sure that you multiply the top also by 3. So 3 times negative 13n will just be equal to negative 39n. Now how can I make this equal to 12? Times 4. Then make sure that we multiply the numerator by 4 also. So 4 times negative 1 is negative 4. Next, how can I make this equal to 12? Times 2. So times also the numerator by 2. So 37 times 2 is actually equal to 74. And then we can just disregard our denominator. Okay? Note that this is the same thing as what we have here. All right? Okay, let's solve the next question. Note that we have 4 denominators. We have 3, I have 6, I have 2, and 12. We don't have any mixed numbers. So the only thing that we have to do here is to have a common denominator. So let's get our LCD. 3, 6, 2, 12. The LCD for this will be equal to 12. Okay? So LCD is equal to 12. How to make this equal to 12? Times 4. Then times this also by 4. So that's negative 8n. To make this equal to 12, times 2. So multiply the top also by 2. So that's 2 times 1, 2. To make this equal to 12, multiply this by 6. Times 6 the top, I'll get 6 times 1 is 6, then attach the variable n. This is already 12, so we don't need to change this into 12. So it means that I just need to copy the numerator negative 5. So from here, we can combine like terms. I have here negative 8n and 6n. If you wish, we can use our commutative property to switch 2 and our 6n. So this is actually our commutative property of addition. So let me just commutative property addition. Then let's use our substitution to replace this as negative 2n. Bring down the rest. So this is actually your substitution. Next, we are going to use our subtraction property. So subtracting 2 to both sides, we are going to get negative 2n equals negative 7. To get this step, we need to cancel this. And whenever we cancel, that's actually an inverse. In this case, it should be an additive inverse. And finally, divide both sides by negative 2. So this is both sides. We divided both sides. So this should be division property of equation. And finally, inverse. So negative 7 over negative 2 is just equal to 7 over 2. So this is your multiplicative inverse because we canceled the negative 2 and negative 2 here. here. Actually, what happened here was negative 2 times 1 over negative 2. It's equal to 1. Of course, we don't see the 1 here, but we actually have a coefficient of 1 here. Alright, so the correct answer is n equals 7/2. We don't need to convert this into a decimal. Just leave your answer as fraction 7 over 2. Alright, next question. Again, we have some fractions. We don't have any mixed numbers, so we just need to have a common denominator. So what should be the LCD of 9, 6, and 4? The LCD of these three numbers should be equal to, or the LCM in this case is 36. Okay? Alright, so how can I make this equal to 36? We need to multiply this by, let me see, multiply this by 4. So times 4 here, times 4, we'll get 40x over 36. To make this equal to 36, multiply by 6, times 6 also, we'll get plus 30 over 6. To make this equal to 36 times 9, we'll get 9x over 36. Now this is over 1. To make this equal to 36, multiply this by 36, multiply this also by 36. So what is 6 times 36? It should be equal to 216. Alright, now just disregard our denominator. We'll get 40x plus 30 equals 9x plus 216. We don't have any like terms here. Same thing here on the right side. There's no like terms. Next, let's undo our variable x. I do have a 40x here and 9x. So I'm going to undo my 9x. So subtract 9x to both sides. And this is actually your subtraction property. Next, we're going to use our additive inverse. So I'm going to get 31x plus 30 equals 216. So this should be your additive inverse. Next, undo our 30. Subtract 30, subtract 30. So this is actually our subtraction property of equation. And then we are going to get 31x. Cancel this one out. Then 216 minus 30 is actually equal to 186. And this property is additive inverse. Next, we divide both sides by 31. So this is your division property. We'll get x. Next, divide your 186 by 31. And we are going to get 6. And this last step is possible because we canceled 31 over 31. And that's actually a multiplicative inverse. Okay? And of course, don't forget to check your answer. So meaning you plug back in your answer to the original equation. So 10 over 9. Replace your x here by 6. Plus 5 over 6. Is this equal to the right side? X over 4. But x is equal to 6. 6 over 4 plus 6. Alright, let's go over, or let's verify. So 10 over 9 times 6 is 20 over 3 plus 5 over 6, which is equal to 15 halves. Oops, that should be 15 over 2. Is this equal to the right side? So let's go ahead and add your 6 over 4 by 6 and it is also equal to 15 over 2. All right, it means that our answer, x equals 6, is correct. All right, for this next question, we can have two possible ways on how to solve this, okay? But what I'm going to do here is to use first our multiplication property, okay? Now, some of you might distribute your 11 halves into the 13 over 5 negative and then to 1. But what I'm going to do is to multiply both sides by 2 over 11, okay? Multiply also the right side by 2 over 11. This is actually inverses of each other, so this will be equal to 1, okay? That's actually the reason why I use 2 over 11, okay? I would like to get rid of the 11 over 2 here. All right, so just copy this one, negative 13 over 5 n plus 1. Now 77 times 2 over 11, we know that 77 divided by 11 is just equal to 7, and 7 times 2 is equal to 14. You can also check your answer using our calculator. All right, next I will subtract by 1 to both sides. I'll get negative 13 over 5n equals 13. Next, I need to get rid of my negative 13 over 5. Instead of dividing by negative 13 over 5, I'm going to use the inverse. Multiply this by 5 over negative 13, and I'll do the same procedure on the right side. 5 times 13 times 5 over negative 13. Now again, these two are inverses of each other. It will be equal to 1. So we can just cancel this and this. So n equals 13 times 5 over negative 13. This can cancel out. I will have negative 1 at the bottom. 5 over negative 1 is equal to negative 5. And there we go. This will be our answer, n equals negative 5. Now go ahead and try to distribute your 11 halves to this parenthesis and check if you'll be able to get the same answer, n equals.
Math is a wonderful thing. Math is a really cool thing.